guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video we will talk about vintage luxury handbags. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Karen. I live in the Philippines, I'm from Manila, and I enjoy luxury handbags. Okay, so just to set things straight, my definition of anything vintage, whether it's a handbag, jewelry, even furniture, it has to be at least 20 years old. So I've looked it up on the internet, and some say that as early as 10 years it's already considered vintage, but for me I think that's still too recent, or I think it's too young to be considered vintage. So for this video, anything that's made in 2000 or earlier is considered vintage for me. So 90s, 80s, let's do a little throwback. So before I share with you my small handbag collection, vintage handbags of course, I'll share with you 5 things why I like going through the vintage route, or why looking for vintage pieces is a good thing. So number 1 is that the model or style may not be produced anymore by the fashion house. So it's possible that a lot of handbags that you really like are only accessible through the second-hand market. Okay. The second is that I personally believe that quality and craftsmanship of bags back then is way better than now. And I feel that most of the luxury handbags produced back then are handmade with little aid of machines and automation. So I think there's that personal touch, there's that human element when it comes to creating bags back then. Third is that reusing and recycling vintage handbags reduce waste, especially if the bag is still wearable and functional. So some people, they just like to resell their items because it doesn't suit their lifestyle anymore, it doesn't work for them, they don't reach for it, but overall it's still in really good condition. And you know that one man's trash is another man's treasure. So that's the excitement of looking through vintage pieces. The fourth item is that there is sentimental value, especially if those pieces are passed down from mother to daughter, grandmother to granddaughter, even from an aunt to her niece. And the fifth reason why I think going through the vintage route is a good idea is that your pieces may not be as common as current trends. So carrying vintage bags are unique, and it helps you stand out in a crowd of the latest trends and designs. Another debatable point that I'd like to point out is that I think that it's hard to produce counterfeit vintage bags. What I mean is that aged leather, the original brass hardware in older bags can't just be easily copied. And counterfeiters, I believe, prefer to copy popular designs, popular models, so that they can have that economies of scale and bring down their production cost and then sell it for the retail price of an authentic or original item. So what do you think about those reasons why going through the vintage route is a good idea? Do you have other reasons why you prefer going through the vintage route? Please do let me know in the comments below. Okay, one thing I'd also like to talk about vintage pieces is that, as you know, I'm Filipino, I'm Asian, and we have superstitions regarding purchasing second-hand pieces. I don't know if you've heard about this, but in Filipino we call it segunda mano, and in Spanish it literally means second hand. Philippine superstition about segunda mano goes like this. So there are certain people that get so attached to their objects of affection, i.e. bags, that when they die, their spirit or the juju stays with it, the object of affection, i.e. bag. And from what I know, if the owner gave or sold it freely, then the bag is okay. So the juju's not there. However, If the owner suddenly dies or was abruptly separated from the object of affection for whatever reason, there's a chance that the bad juju can get attached to the bag. Then a new owner comes, purchases it, and then the juju suddenly becomes the reason for certain misfortunes happening to the owner. So of course, it's all superstition. You don't have to believe it. It's a modern world. According to my mom, it happens. I guess it just depends on your belief. This is why some Filipinos don't really buy segunda mano or secondhand or vintage, especially if she doesn't know who the previous owner was. So if, for example, an item was given to her by a friend, by a relative, family member, then that's okay. But if she doesn't know who the previous owner was or what happened to the owner before the bag got into her possession, then it's a red flag. It's a red flag. She also mentioned to me that years back when she was thrift shopping in Escolta in Old Manila, some items would feel heavy. I don't know, that's possibly the juju. But anyway, to all Filipino viewers out there or those who believe in segunda mano, I watched a Filipino blogger say that you can incense the items in sandalwood to release the juju from the items. Enough about sharing superstition, but we're all here to learn and appreciate vintage handbags. So I'll be sharing with you 4 things from my collection. 3 are handbags and 1 is an SLG. 3 are from Louis Vuitton and 1 is in another brand. So I'll share that with you. The first vintage bag that I got is the Saumur 30. Okay, I think this is the smallest size, and this is the saddle bag. So I already unclasped the buckles here for you guys. So originally it's meant to be placed on the saddle. Just some tidbits for you guys. The Saumur was designed in the 80s, and the name Saumur actually comes from a village in France, Saumur. And apparently it's a famous village for horse riding schools. So this is probably the inspiration for naming the bag the Saumur. Okay. This was discontinued in 2010, but I believe that they reintroduced and redesigned it in 2017. It's completely different from the Saumur. So it only has this front flap. There's no opening at the back, but there's a slip pocket from what I understand. So this one, I got this in Japan while my husband and I were traveling. Surprisingly, of all places, we bought this in Himeji. So Himeji is in the Hyogo prefecture, so it's western Japan, I believe. So we got this in a sale. Some department stores there were having a New Year sale, and it was one of those designer handbag sale wherein these items were on sale. There were Chanel, there were Hermes, Gucci, Dior, and what have you. So my husband got this for me as I had been looking for a satchel crossbody type of bag. So we have the front part here has only one slip compartment. The one at the back with the upside down monogram because it's one continuous piece of canvas. This one has 2 slip pockets. This also has the adjustable but it's not detachable shoulder strap, and it has these shoulder pads. So these are all original Vaqueta and hardware. This was made in 1988 March. So I like this bag. This is very convenient for me. I enjoy crossbodies and I really like this design. So Louis Vuitton doesn't make this anymore, so the only way to get a Saumur is through the second hand or the pre-loved market. The second bag that I got is the Cartouchier. This is in the size MM, I believe. So this is 22 cm, so a bit smaller than the Speedy 25. This is a gorgeous satchel crossbody. This isn't the original strap. The original strap is all vaqueta. It's not detachable, but it's adjustable. What's so special about this bag is that the manufacturing date was the year and the month of my birth. So I am as old as this one. This is 30 plus years old, and it looks like this is in really good shape. If you notice, this leather part here is not original. I already had this replaced. However, I did not had this fixed in Louis Vuitton because there was already some canvas cracks here. And as we all know, once there's a crack in the canvas, Louis Vuitton will not repair this anymore. So I had this replaced, and it looks just as good. I also bought this accessory, which is actually a spare part or replacement part. So this is the bandolier 16mm, and it also has a shoulder pad. This is adjustable as well as detachable, so I can actually use this with other monogram bags. So this one, it's very old. As you can see, it has two pockets inside. It has cross-grain leather interior, and of course gold tone hardware. So this fits actually my cell phone, which is a Galaxy S9, as well as an iPad mini. So an iPad mini fits here. It's a bit snug, but it fits. I bought this for $340. Shipping was free. It arrived a week after I purchased it, and the reseller, the Japanese reseller, was very easy to talk to. Very fast and quick transaction. And if you're wondering, the name cartouchier, it came from the word bandolier, which is a belt that soldiers use to carry their cartridges. So that's an interesting tidbit for you guys. The third vintage handbag that I got is this Bally bag. So Bally is a Swiss leather company. They're mostly known for their shoes, but they also do handbags. So this is a vintage Kelly bag. So they call this the Kelly style, and it's in the smooth box calf leather. But this was made in, I think, early 80s, if I'm not mistaken. I really don't have a lot of information about this bag online, but I really like the style. It reminds me of the Hermes Kelly, but I don't think I'm gonna get a Kelly anytime soon. It's not uncommon for some brands to make their own interpretations of the Kelly handbag. I know Chanel also has a Kelly style handbag. Also Salvatore Ferragamo. So this one I also got from the same Japanese online reseller for an amazing price. I got this for $186 plus shipping. And in the listing it said it's in B rank condition, meaning it had a lot of wears, but I think it's in fairly good condition. I mean, you really can't expect much from a vintage smooth leather bag. So the stitching is outside, so this is like a cellier. So this is a very structured handbag. The flap opens very conveniently using magnets, so this is easier to get in and out of as compared to the Hermes Kelly. And inside you have two pockets and one zippered back pocket. So I find this very convenient. It helps you organize your things. And what I also appreciate is that the back part, there's also a back pocket, and it's deep enough, so it runs the entire height of the bag. So I have actually put my cell phone here just for convenience. It also came with this strap. So the strap is detachable, but it's not adjustable, but I think it's good enough length to be used as a shoulder bag. So if I put it over as crossbody, it sits a little bit higher on my hip. I enjoy wearing this as a shoulder bag or handheld because it has a lot of space. It has a lot of room for my forearm. So this is the Bally Kelly bag. The last item is an SLG, and this is the Trousse Toilette in the 28. This one was made in 1990. This is quite old, but it's still in a good condition. So it has the original gold tone hardware, it just needs polishing. But the interior is really nice. So I have here my makeup. And what I like about this GM case is that it has 3 elastic bands here to put your bottles upright. So right now I have here my foundations. And the other side has a big slip pocket, and that's where I keep my eyeshadows. And the main compartment is mostly skincare and some sunblock. I have a full-sized bottle of toner here, and it fits comfortably inside. So one of the reasons I decided to get the biggest toiletry pouch is that it can fit full-sized bottles, and this one just sits on my vanity permanently. But at the same time, should we get to travel, I just have to zip this up, pack it in my luggage, and then I'm good to go. All here in my Trousse Toilette. Aside from the washable beige interior, what I really appreciate about this toiletry pouch is that it doesn't have the vaqueta lining, so there's no fear in getting this wet. It's a very, very sturdy pouch. I actually have a 5th item, and it's currently not with me. I purchased it the same time as this Trousse Toilette, and that was the Push Toilette in the 19 size. So it's a discontinued item, just recently discontinued. But that item was vintage, and the reason why it's not with me is that it's at Louis Vuitton. I had it repaired. The vaqueta tab needed to be replaced, so I just brought it in the store, and then they accepted it, and they'll replace the vaqueta tab. Okay, so those are all the vintage pieces that I have. They're mostly Louis Vuitton. I love my monogram canvas, especially when they're vintage, supple yet durable at the same time, as opposed to the more recent pieces that I have. This one was a lucky find. It has a good price point. So far it's been working out great. I like that the flap is very easy to access, and I think it's a very good day to night handbag with its size. Have you bought any vintage pieces? How is it working out for you? How is the quality and the craftsmanship compared to the newer pieces that you have in your collection? So please do let me know in the comment section down below. I've been on a vintage bag kick lately, and I have been binging on a lot of YouTube videos when it comes to vintage handbags. So if you're still here, thanks for sticking with me. If you have any questions, if you want to know more about where I buy my vintage handbag pieces, please do let me know. I can do a separate video on that one. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing of course, and I'll see you in my next video. Ingat!